It was late at night. The lights in Ronaldo's luxurious mansion were dim, but his mind was even darker than the shadows around him. He sat alone in his private room, staring at the shelves filled with golden trophies and medals. Each one was a symbol of his greatness, but tonight, they felt like empty metal mocking his loneliness. His eyes were tired, his body strong but his soul exhausted. For years, he had carried the weight of being the world's icon, but no one had ever asked if he was happy. Suddenly the silence broke. The door creaked open slowly. There stood Georgina. Her eyes were swollen from crying. Her hands shook as she took a step forward. She opened her mouth, but the words were stuck in her throat. She fell to her knees before him. Her voice was so soft, it was almost a whisper. "Cristiano, I'm sorry." Ronaldo looked at her, silent, unreadable. She gathered her courage, and spoke through her tears. "I see it now. All these years, I thought I was enough, but I never really made you happy. I thought your success was your happiness. I was wrong. I ignored your silence, your pain, your sleepless nights. I made you feel alone in your own home." Her tears touched his feet, each drop heavier than any gold medal. "I hurt you so much, Cristiano. Please, forgive me." Ronaldo said nothing, but deep inside, for the first time in years, his eyes betrayed him. They filled with the tears the world had never seen. The room was so quiet that Georgina could hear her own heartbeat echoing against the walls. She stayed on her knees, afraid to look up, afraid of what his eyes might say. For a moment, she wished he would shout, break something, push her away. But he did, and single quotes T. Ronaldo slowly stood up from his chair. He stepped forward, but his steps felt heavy, like he was walking through memories that hurt more than her words. He looked down at her, his face stone cold but his eyes softening with every breath. "Stand up," he said quietly. His voice was deep, tired, but strangely gentle. Georgina hesitated, but she got to her feet, wiping her tears with trembling hands. For a moment, they just stood there, facing each other. So close, yet so distant. Years of love, pain, betrayal, and silence stood between them like an invisible wall. Ronaldo took a deep breath. "Do you think sorry will fix everything?" His words cut deeper than a shout ever could. Georgina felt her chest tighten. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. He stepped closer. His eyes locked on hers, searching, questioning, breaking her down. "Do you know what it's like to win everything, but lose yourself at home?" His voice cracked, just slightly, proof that the strongest man in the world could still bleed inside. Georgina's tears fell again. "Cristiano, I know I failed you. I know I didn't see your pain. But I'm ready to change. Please, don't give up on me." But Ronaldo just turned his back to her. He walked to the window, staring at the empty night sky. "Sometimes sorry comes too late," he whispered to himself. In that moment, Georgina realized this apology might not heal him. It might break them both even more. Georgina stood frozen as Ronaldo looked out the window. His back turned, but his mind wide open, lost in memories he had buried deep for years. He could still hear the echoes of their arguments, the quiet fights behind closed doors, the fake smiles in front of cameras, the nights he returned home exhausted after training, hoping for warmth, but finding cold silence instead. He remembered birthdays missed, dinners eaten alone, moments when he won the world but lost a piece of himself every time he stepped inside that grand, empty house. He had built an empire for everyone to see, yet no one saw how lonely its king really was. Georgina slowly stepped closer, afraid to break his thoughts but desperate to reach him. "Cristiano, do you remember the nights you waited for me to come home? The messages I ignored. The fights I started for no reason." Her voice trembled with guilt. Ronaldo didn't turn around. His reflection in the glass showed a man who looked untouchable to the world, but so breakable in front of her. "I remember everything," he said coldly. "I remember sitting in the kitchen, staring at the door, hoping you'd walk in with a smile, but you never did. I remember pretending in interviews that we were perfect, while you were too busy for me at home." Georgina felt her knees weaken again. "I was selfish. I took your love for granted. I thought you'd always be there, no matter how much I hurt you." Ronaldo turned around now, his eyes burning with a pain she could finally see. "And you were right. I stayed. I kept giving. Because I thought one day you'd see me, the real me. Not just Cristiano Ronaldo, the icon, but Cristiano, the man who just wanted to come home and feel loved." The silence between them now was heavier than any fight they'd ever had. It was the weight of every word they'd never said. In that moment, Georgina knew her apology had come late. but the truth was even heavier than her guilt. Hours passed in that silent room, Georgina and Ronaldo, standing in the ruins of a love story only they knew the real truth about, but the world outside. The world was hungry for a scandal, and tonight, it got one. Georgina's tears had barely dried when her phone buzzed. Dozens of missed calls. Hundreds of notifications. She picked it up with shaking hands, her eyes widened as she read the headlines flashing everywhere. She dropped the phone on the floor, her secret apology wasn't a secret anymore. Someone close to them, maybe a staff member, maybe a friend had leaked everything. Ronaldo turned to her as her phone clattered on the floor. His eyes narrowed, but there was no shock in them, just disappointment. Of course, he muttered. Even our broken moments aren't safe from the world. Georgina stepped forward, desperate to explain. I didn't tell anyone. I swear, Cristiano, I wanted this to stay between us. This was just for you. For us. But Ronaldo laughed a cold, broken laugh that didn't touch his eyes. There is no us anymore, Georgiana. Not when our pain becomes entertainment, for everyone else. He walked past her, brushing her shoulder like she was a stranger. Do you know what hurts more than the betrayal inside these walls? It's when the whole world points at us and pretends they know our story. But they don't. They never did. Outside their gates, paparazzi had already gathered. Cameras flashed in the darkness. Millions were watching, waiting for the perfect shot, the perfect proof that even the king and queen were falling apart. And inside, Georgina realized her apology might heal nothing. The world had stolen the last piece of their privacy. And maybe, the last chance to fix what was left. Inside those walls, time felt frozen. Outside, the world roared with questions, cameras ready, headlines hungry, fans divided. But inside, that quiet room, it was just Ronaldo and Georgina. No trophies, no cameras, no pretending. Just two broken hearts, facing the truth. Ronaldo sat down, his hands covering his face. He wasn't the legend people cheered for right now. He was just a man who had given too much and received too little when it truly mattered. Georgina moved closer, afraid every step might be the last. She knelt down in front of him again, her voice trembling. Cristiano, I know I can't erase the past. I know I failed you. But please, let me fix it. Give me one chance to love you the way you always deserved. Ronaldo slowly lifted his head. His eyes were red, but they didn't have the same anger anymore. Just exhaustion, just pain that had nowhere else to go. How do I trust you again, Georgina? How do I believe this time it's different? His question was barely a whisper, but it thundered inside her heart. She took his hands in hers, strong calloused hands that had carried trophies but also carried the weight of her mistakes for years. I'll prove it. Not with words, but with time, with every day I stand by you. Not beside your fame, but beside you. The man, not the icon. For a moment, silence filled the room again. He looked at her, really looked. He saw the same face that once made him smile like a boy. The same eyes that once promised forever. And the same heart that once hurt him deeper than any rival on the field ever could. Outside, the paparazzi flashed their cameras, waiting for a crack in the perfect image. But inside, Ronaldo did something unexpected. He pulled her into his arms. No fancy words. No grand speeches. Just one broken man hugging the woman who broke him, and maybe the same woman who could heal him too. He whispered in her ear, "This is your last chance. Don't break me again." Georgina buried her face in his chest, tears falling, but this time, maybe not just of regret, maybe of hope. Outside, the world would keep talking, but inside, for now, it was just them, fighting for a love the headlines could never truly understand.